Hi everyone, my name is Angela Macias and this is my Math Center presentation. I labeled my Math Center is for good measure, no pun intended. I do want the kids to have fun, but I also do want them to comprehend and understand exactly what I'm teaching them in this math unit. It's all about measurement, data recording. They will have journals that they will be filling out through each center of this unit. Let's go ahead and get started. A few of the lesson plans you cannot see very clearly. I'm going to go ahead and pull those up. I do have them pulled up already. So let's go ahead and get started. 1, 2, 3, cheese. Cheese, 1, 2, 3, cheese. This is about measuring lengths with strings and rulers. I want the students to be comfortable before moving on with the math unit in measuring length, specifically with a ruler starting with millimeters, centimeters, inches, eventually feet. They will be measuring things on their desk to start. I will start by measuring maybe my water bottle, things of that sort, and then let them get comfortable on their own measuring maybe their pencil boxes, their backpacks, their hands, things of that sort, and then I want them to go ahead and start my lesson plan. So let me go ahead and move in on it. Again, it's a little bit translucent, so it's hard to see, but I have it pulled up. So 1, 2, 3, cheese. My name is Miss Angela again. The day is Tuesday, course EDUC 389, Campus College of the Canyons, grade 3, subject math. Lesson title 1, 2, 3, cheese, and the length of the lesson is 60 minutes. I apologize. I'm going to pause the recording. Apologize for that. There was somebody at the door, and my little guard dogs were letting me know. The standard, the California State Standard for this activity is that students understand the concepts of area and relate the area to multiplication and to addition. They measure the areas by counting in unit squares, so centimeter, millimeter, inches, square feet, things of that sort. The objective is that students will get more comfortable measuring lengths with measuring tools like a ruler and a string, and they will eventually be measuring their smile once they get comfortable measuring things at their desk. The assessment that I chose for this activity is a formative assessment. Again, with those journals, I will be able to see whether the kids are understanding the unit or not, or maybe I need to tweak an activity so that they better understand what is asked of them. The materials is a ruler, string, scissors, writing materials, their journals, a whiteboard, and some dry erase markers. So I always start the lesson with a question to kind of get their brains storming a little bit and how it can be personally related to them and to kind of get them interested in what we're doing. I ask the students, what is one way that we are able to measure anything? Can anybody raise their hand? And of course little Johnny is going to say, oh, you can use a ruler to measure your hand length or the string length. And I say, yes, Johnny, that's correct. And that'll also give the other kids a little bit more of a comfortability knowing that another student has used a ruler before, so it's not something that they are scared of attempting or anything like that. Again, they will go ahead and measure their smile, so I'll go ahead and put a string up to their face and kind of give a broad estimate as to where to cut the string, and I want them to measure their smile and write that down and record that down in their journal. And eventually, let me go ahead back to that Prezi. So you've seen the lesson plan. We're going to mix it all together. I'm going to show you what's in stake for these kids for grand finale. So at the end, I'm going to ask the students to put together all of their smile lengths as if the class was one big smile. And the kids are going to get a kick out of this because they love a healthy competition. I'm not sure. They're always trying to see who has the biggest smile. I've actually done this activity with a few of my students in the after-school program I work for, and it's a big hit. The kids actually love it. Can't get enough. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the other activities that I would include Here I would have them measure their wingspan, maybe go a little further, as to instead of inches now we're working with feet, and essentially yards. Feet first, I want them to get used to cubic measurements and then go into universal measurements. So again, their wingspan, their foot length, and then their height is a good one. And then let's go ahead and take it a bit further and adding and subtracting these lengths. So what is my wingspan opposed to my hand length? So like I would have the students get that wingspan measurement and deduct or subtract that hand length in inches. And again, I will show them how to how to convert those measurements, so we will know how many inches are in a feet, so that we can use both feet and inches to compare. Okay, that's our first first activity. Second activity, we are going to measure liquid volumes and masses. So just a liter more, please. Don't they all say that? Can I just have a little bit more? So I thought the kids would like that title. So again, measuring an estimated liquid volumes using liters. So this will also be a group activity. Let me go ahead and pull the lesson plan up. Again, a bit hard to see, so let me pull the actual plan up. Okay, just a liter more, please. Most of the top area is going to be consistent as far as the teacher, the grade. Again, the grade is 3 for the entire Math Center, the course, the day, and the campus. This one again is going to take about 60 minutes, same as the first one, and the goal is to introduce students to measuring and estimating liquid volume using liters as the standard unit of measurement. So that liter is very important because I'm going to have 2 containers. Let's go ahead and get into the lesson. I apologize. So I'm going to use containers that the students can pick up and can touch and hold onto and feel, so that they have something in their hands while they're learning. This is to reach those learners that have a hard time focusing and paying attention. So this will really keep them on track and keep them engaged throughout the full lesson. So we'll start with the 2 containers, and we'll have the 1 liter of the liquid opposed to whatever amount of liquid they want to put in that second container. And again, we're measuring in liters. So 1 liter opposed to a half liter maybe, or 2 liters. If they want to go further in it. I want them to record this data in their journal. It's very important that I not only get those mathematic calculations, I want it verbally written out to integrate it with some English, so that I can tell that they have come to a conclusion where they fully absorbed measuring in liters for liquid masses. And then beyond, let me go ahead and go back to that Prezi. And we're mixing it all together. So this is the enrichment. So at the end of the activity in group work time, I want my students to identify the medium-sized containers as less than, equal to, or more than. So we've went a step further from not only recording, now we are comparing. So a liter to a gallon, which is greater, which is less than. I want them to be able to tell me that, so that I know that they understand exactly how much a liter of liquid is. So give me more. And again, they say that, give me more, give me more. So the other activities that I have in this lesson is now introducing gallons. So I want them to go home, and as they're taking that bite of cereal, have mom leave that gallon of milk there for that 5 minutes while they're eating. And I want them to see and understand the size of the gallon opposed to the liter that they saw in class. And I want them to involve their parents as well and kind of look in their fridge and see what else they can compare that liter to. I thought about making ice cream or smoothies in class and measuring using teaspoons and tablespoons and cups, things of that sort, so that they understand how many teaspoons, how many cups, how many tablespoons are able to fit in that liter, how many liters are in a gallon, and so forth. Once they're able to do that and are more comfortable with that, I want them to start measuring temperature. So if we are going to bake or we are going to make food, you need to preheat an oven, or you need to make sure that you're not baking on a super hot day, as it's been almost 100 degrees here in the valley lately. So I want them to know that temperature is super important for them to understand and learn as well. So temperature will also be within this lesson plan. Okay, let's move on. Food feud. And aren't those students competitive? Man, they love competing against each other. So let's go ahead and see what Food Feud is. This book I used for my math literature project. This is a book that I think is great for the students to interact with at the beginning. Actually, let me go ahead into that lesson plan. Again, it's kind of hard to see, so I'll go ahead and pull it up in a PDF. Again, consistent stuff up here. The goal of this unit is that students will have a better understanding of how fractions are computed. So we've gone from measuring a length to now using fractions to compare and to contrast what data we have recorded. So throughout me reading this book, I will have the students draw their favorite food. So let me go ahead back to that Prezi and show you some picture examples of what I'm looking for. So a hamburger, or french fries, birthday cake, ice cream cones. These are perfect examples of what the students would really say. So as I'm reading along, it'll say, now you're going to cut your favorite food in half. And I'll have the students use those scissors to kind of cut it in half so that they can visually see two halves of a whole. And then as I'm reading along, again, it'll say cut the halves in half. So now we have 4/4 of one full food item. The assessment that I chose to check for their understanding is both informal and formal. I feel like fractions are big on its own. It's a big unit on its own, but I feel like it's important with measuring, because when you're baking, you see a lot of half cups or fourth cups or 3 cups of flour, things of that sort, and I want the students to be familiar with that and understand that before we move further into the Math Center. So again, informal, kind of checking for understanding, vaguely looking at their journal, and then the formal will be an actual quiz in which the minimum passing grade would be 70%. Other activities in this plan, don't stop now. Other activities in this lesson plan, again, measuring flour, weighing in pounds, so we'll bring out bags of beans, bags of lentils, and kind of measure and compare those. I will also write the unit of pounds on the board so that the students are familiar with the LBS on how to present that. The students will learn how to divide so that each student gets a share. So if I do bring in a whole cake and I do have 35 students in my classroom, I'll physically divide 35 slices so that students can see that visually, and the same thing that they did with their activity with my math literature book. And again, taking it a step further, adding, multiplying, subtracting from other students and what they got. So the weight of a banana opposed to a cantaloupe, what is the difference? What if you add them together? You know what I mean? Very important. Let's go ahead and go back into that last center, and that's where the students will measure time. So let me go ahead and pull up the lesson plan. Can't really see it, but this is the lesson plan. It's called Elapsable. The goal of this is to have the students become more familiar with elapsed time, and this is where they'll be working with word problems. The assessment that I chose for this is a presentation type of assessment, so I will have the students show me and the class what they have learned as far as their what they got for their data in the answers. Let me go ahead and zoom out. How I would check if they've understood, again, I would have them present, because once they can present to the class, I know that they fully absorbed the material. Let's go back for those other activities. Doesn't time fly when you're having fun? So other activities, take it a step further, hours in a day, days in a week, weeks in a month, months in a year, kind of building it up from there. And again, adding and subtracting how many birthdays are in June and kind of divide that. Again, this is my Math Center on measuring and data recording, and we've measured with rulers